Hi everybody, Alex here, where we do tool reviews, tips, and how-to videos. Today's an interesting how-to video. It's gutter repair or gutter replacement. I think this first clip is going to be an important one. Some people have difficulty working with these old gutters that have spikes and furrows. If you have a Wonder Bar or Pry Bar or Cat's Claw, hell, even another hammer, you can usually get behind the back of the gutter, give it one good whack, and that'll loosen up the face of the gutter enough without damaging it to get to the spike. Once the spike's out of here, stick your Wonder Bar in there, where the nail usually, where you pull on nails, I should say, or grab a nail. Give that a couple good taps with your hammer, and it usually flies right out. A lot of people have difficulty removing these. They damage it or they just don't know how to work on it. And they literally pull the spike straight through the gutter. Always remember to leave the center spike intact until the end when you're ready to lower it down. There could be a lot of debris in there, so I like to carefully lower it down to one end to minimize the water or dirt, debris, nail problem. We have a new gutter now. I ran it out. It's 15 foot 3 inches. So I marked the center of my gutter. I always give 1 inch over past the shingles on each end. So in this, for instance, I'm marking at 7 foot 6 inches because of that extra inch. I stuffed my pencil in there because marking a facial board's not going to give me a good visual. This allows me to set the gutter. I run in the fastener on the one bracket, giving me enough of pitch. This also helps me teeter it. I usually check the outlet side. I make sure the outlet side is fine and the high end of the gutter doesn't look that bad to where I want it to be. I set my screw, confirm that I like the outlet, set that screw, then I work my way to the other end of the gutter, set that screw. If you have decent gutter, not like cheap Home Depot junk, it's solid and stiff enough where you could set 3-4 screws and then go back and forth and run them in. While I assemble my gutter, I like to put the hidden hanger in and just have the tip of the screw penetrate the back of the gutter. That keeps everything intact. Here's a gutter guard that we've been using for a while. We tried many different gutter guards. I've cleaned gutters, worked around gutters for the better part of 20 years. This stuff I really like because it uses a fastener in the front of the gutter and then a fastener in the back of the gutter. But I don't necessarily know that's the real reason why I fell in love with this as much as I did, as much as they're 6 foot lengths. When we install our gutter brackets or hidden hangers, we put them every 2 feet. So being that they're 6 feet long, it has a lot of surface area to hold on to. I don't have to worry about heavy snow loads or leaves and debris building up on it and pushing down on it. That being said, I do like to put the fastener in the front and the fastener in the back. You gotta have fastener in the front and fastener in the back. I find if you don't line up the fastener in the front directly with the fastener in the back, it contributes to this buckling. I use a regular bit adapter, but if you want to, you can get this longer bit holder. Might help you out. This is normally what I use. I just want to show you, there are readily available ways of doing this. Stuff you probably already have in your toolbox. This is a Milwaukee extension. It's nothing fancy. I get these at Home Depot. They come in a kit. Now what this does is it bridges it and gives it strength. Now because we have a bracket every 2 feet on our new gutter, it's not so much of an issue with bridging everything. But when you're retrofitting in gutter guard on an existing gutter, and the brackets might be 30 inches, 36 inches or larger, sometimes it's every 5 feet whether it needs it or not. It really helps tie everything together and give it rigidity. To hold a snow load or keep the debris up there so it doesn't collapse the gutter guard. Okay, here's another tip for you that I like to do. A lot of people disassemble a gutter like a downspout or elbows, and they assume they could replicate it. That's not necessarily true. I measure from the wall to the outside of the outlet. There's different radiuses when it comes to elbows that changes. I'm going to make it 7. First things first, I want to crimp on it. Even though it has a factory crimp, I'm usually not a big fan of the factory crimp. There are special tools for it. We have one. We have a crimping tool. I'll go over that. But I find it doesn't do a great job for me. Okay, forget what I said. We ran out of time. We will not be going over the crimping tool. While this looks completely insane, take a hammer claw and hammer into this painted finish. It doesn't do any damage, and this part of the downspout slides into another section, into the other downspout. It will not be exposed. You'll do more damage to the paint finish rubbing your connections together. This more closely represents. I find this does a great job. Crimp. Like I said, I find this does a great job. It gives me a nice positive crimp. I like the fact that it does resemble and it's compatible with a factory finish crimp. If I want them to go in a little tighter, now we shape it. Okay, now we got our mark. I got my trusty grinder. Yes, I know a lot of people are going to complain about the blade could explode without the guard, throw stuff in your face. To them, I recommend this top tip. Never use a grinder with your eyes open. Close your eyes, protect them. Grind blindly. Wear a face mask. Looks pretty good. Whenever grinding something, you're always going to have a burr. That being said, since I grind on the face and I keep continuing it, the burr's on the inside. This restricts my opening. I take anything, a knife, pencil, my lighter, whatever's available. I just rub it in there and it knocks it down enough. Also, when you're putting your connections together, try to remember you want it to visually look good. Its functioning is nice, but you don't want to see exposed seams if you could help it. If you're doing it on your own personal house and you don't mind, these downspouts, if they get locked up with ice and debris, they could explode and split the seam in the back. Me personally, I'd rather see the seam. If the seam blows, you see it. It's not hiding behind it, tearing up your wall. Some people on porches, they have you do that. They rather, not see the seam while they're sitting on their porch. It's kind of a little wild, but to each his own. This will better represent what I'm talking about. So if this is the outer outlet, and this represents the wall. We're here over 14 inches, so everything should fit. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. Hopefully you can see it. There's the outlet. That goes in there, fits pretty good, touches up against the wall. Now from there, we're going to take this down, this A elbow, stick it down at the bottom and measure downward. We take a tape measure, just keep pumping this down till we touch the top of the elbow. I want that elbow to sit up off the ground. So if we do that, that'll elevate that elbow up about 4 inches. So we got 104. That's the length of gutter or downspout we need to cut. While we're here, I like to put my brackets right at every elbow connection. This has a little bit of stucco there, so I'm going to punch it. And run a washer screw in there. So we need 104 inches. Luckily for me, the factory crimp on these downspouts are pretty good. Okay, nice square cut. I look down the blade, use that straight edge. Deburr that. Get some elbows on there. We should be in business. When you put your plumbing together, you should be considerate of the seam or the joint. Me personally, I would rather the joint be exposed in case it blows out. It doesn't blow out against the wall. But I could understand why customers don't want to see that. Where the factory crimp job sometimes a little lackluster. You take your pencil or even your hand most of the times and over crimp it. That'll help get in. A lot of times downspout guys will just take the end of the gutter and they'll crunch it so hard that it blows that seam out. Okay, now we got that together. It's time to put some fasteners in there. I swear this long extension could be a little bit unwieldy. It has its benefits when it's needed, but other than that, it kind of stinks. I like to put mine on the top, off to the side, so they're not as exposed. If you're working with a nice flat surface, I'll keep everything plumb. As you push out on your joints. Remember, our bracket, our downspout bracket's going to be mounted here, so that'll catch this downspout and the elbow. We don't have to be too concerned about that. But alternatively, if you want to put some fasteners there, I still put them in the same place. I just like them on the back in this transition point. It doesn't affect the bracket. If you look down that downspout, the elbow looks pretty straight. There you go, one solid downspout. Move it over there. All right, here we go. 15-foot section of gutter guard, downspout plumb to the ground, elevated enough. Don't have to worry about snow and debris backing up to it.